Welcome to another edition of Fall Rise Give. I am Bob. That's Vipin. We are across the country from each other. I'm in Ferryville, Wisconsin. Vipin is in Seattle, Washington. And we have been having a cold snap, Vipin, like you would not believe. My heat, I think I mentioned it the last couple of weeks, has been running nonstop. It's still going, man. And we're running heat like 23 and a half hours a day, I believe. It's crazy how nuts it is, how cold it is. Today, I woke up this morning. It's like 5 above, and it's snowing. Why do we? Do we choose to live in a place where it hurts to go outside and have your skin touch the air? That's what I would like to know.
It was 60 here yesterday. So I'm living in a pretty good place. I'm happy about it. You know, we attract people, places, and opportunities, like we said last week, of things that serve our purpose. So you're attracting the places that serve your purpose. Simple as that.
Maybe that's why I play Santa, because I'm in a cold weather climate, and there we go, man. So let's talk a little bit about like raising money, making money, because I think that the world, or not the world, but a lot of people want to make money. We want to make more. We want to be more successful. We want to have more jing in our pocket, more change in our pocket, and to do the things that we want to do. Let's kind of focus on that today if we can.
Yeah, and it's not something we're going off topic with. What we've been talking about is, the aligning the chakras, aligning our energy for our purpose and our prosperity, essentially, right? The money and mantra philosophy that we've been shifting for the last, I want to say 6 weeks. We're on the 6th week. And so last week we talked about how to attract people, place, and opportunities that serve our purpose. We talked about defining our purpose in the previous one and how to attract energy, shifting energy, all of that stuff. It's natural for us to want money because it's essentially an energy that gives us what we want in life. It gives us food, it gives us shelter, clothing, travel. Anything that we want requires money. And the energy exchange is most people go to work, they spend their energy to go to work and get paid in dollars for it, especially in the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. You get paid in dollars and you spend those dollars. Energy is really what that is. And so one of the things that I've been studying this for well over 25 years and decades long quest for it. And we've talked about my background, humble beginnings, and having an internet company and all of that, right? So studying this information, and I think there's a big conflict in the world. We've talked about money, people think is kind of the root of all evil. It's not money being the root of all evil, it's greed is. But we all need money and need to have a healthy relationship with money. Let's start with the base there. A healthy relationship with money is I need to make the money that I want to be able to live the life that I want to have, to be able to travel. I bet you if you had $1 million, you would reevaluate living in Ferryville, Wisconsin. You may want to go to Arizona or Florida or wherever, right? You may not. Right. It's up to you. And so it really does. So I'm going to detour a little bit. Something happened this week for me that just me being a normal human being and a Seattle citizen, that not having ample amount of money led me to a restrictive behavior this week. I feel like I have enough. I feel like I lead a pretty blessed, abundant life. Yet, the Seattle Seahawks won the NFC Championship game last Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams, and they're going to meet the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl next Sunday. And me and my friends, who are all pretty successful, decided to check out the prices for the tickets. And I was thinking maybe $2,000 to $3,000, $3,000, $4,000. I'd pay for a ticket to go down to Santa Clara and watch the Super Bowl. But the prices are outrageous. $7,000 just to get a crappy seat at the stadium.
Right. I was going to say it's all the second tier sales is what it is. Somebody goes up and buys them all, and then they go ahead and jack the price up by 100%, which is terrible.
Whatever it is, its system's not working, or it is working for the capitalism. Let's say it's working. And so $7,000, the hotel and all that stuff isn't going to be that expensive. It's a major city. It can handle a Super Bowl. San Francisco, San Jose area, it's got plenty of hotels. It's not going to be that expensive. But the issue is I chose not to spend $7,000 on a ticket to go to the Super Bowl. Now, if I was having enough money that I would like to have, and my goal is to have $10 million in the bank. I don't have $10 million. If I had $10 million in the bank, I would have gone to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So not having money, the level that you want, you can't live the life that you want. So that's why it's necessary. Not going to the Super Bowl is a luxury. I totally get it. It's not a common goal. But hey, when your team, for the first time in 10 years, goes back, and it's been 3 times in the last 50 years that they've made it, you'd like to go. It's like if the Vikings made it, you want to go to the Super Bowl, or the Packers made it, you want to go to the Super Bowl. So anyway, money, not having enough or not having to the level that you want can be restricted. Okay, so how do we get it? People all want to get rich quick. They want to manifest this and manifest that. And I'm not against manifesting, and the word manifest is such a big thing in society today. It's this new agey feel to it. Like, oh, I'm just going to visualize this, and it's just going to come to me. And look, that's part of it. You got it. It's like the Michael Jordan. He visualizes making that shot at the end of the game before he shoots it. If you can't imagine it, you can't make it. Disney's talked about visualization and how he imagined everything, and imagination is more important than rational mind. Einstein's talked about it. So it's really important. But you can't just imagine and set a goal or a dream and then not do anything about it. You can't just sit on your laurels and just say, oh, I got it. So how do you get there? So one of the things that we've been talking about, grounded, desire, we talked about trust with act of purpose, creating a purpose. Then we talked about energy of the heart and attracting people. And then we talked last week about attracting people through our communication styles. So how do you start at the inception of truly believing? Visualizing the actions of having something that you want. We all know it takes action. So you've got to be able to visualize yourself believing and acting like you already have it. It doesn't mean I need to go out and spend the $7,000 and acting and go to the Super Bowl, right? That's not the acting I'm talking about. And for me personally, I have a goal. I write it down. I reflect on it daily. We've talked about that, especially more and more, right? Every year I do it. I've been doing the Notes app. Now I've created an app, shameless plug, ascentgoals.com, that allows people to create a vision and a purpose for themselves, but still you need to go do and take action on it. So what is the thing that helps you believe, helps you have intuition to do the right thing and visualize and take action on it and the belief? And that, I believe, and what research has shown, and the ancient sciences from the Egyptians to the Hindus to whomever, the Mayans, have studied this thing called, and even in Jesus' time, the mind's eye, the sixth chakra. How do you open the mind's eye so you can truly see and believe, tap into that greater intuition? They call it the divine connector, the pineal gland, right? The pineal gland is hard to pronounce, I know. It's a tiny little organ, I believe, or a part of the brain. It's in the back. It's very powerful, and it's calcified, and with our food and everything else today, it's hard to open it up. The Hindus have been talking about through meditation and opening the mind's eye, and meditation is really what's required, along with a healthy diet and exercise and all that stuff, to open it up. So mantras is one way to get to meditation. We talked about I am calm, centered, and loving, right? Repeating that gets you into that trance. Getting back to that again. And so now, how do you open that pineal gland to get yourself to start believing in the image of what you want to have? And the pineal gland is the key. The way to open that third eye is through deep meditation and going all the way from the bottom chakra all the way up to the mind's eye and focusing in between your forehead. I know it sounds weird because the back of your head is the pineal gland, but mind's eye is between your forehead, between your eyebrows, focusing on that center. Imagine the color purple and just focus on it. And as you focus on it, spend some time imagining the color purple and say, I see the vision that I want for my life. I see the vision that I want for my life. And as you start to see it, you start to say to yourself, I trust my intuition that it is the right image for me. This is all the work that we've been doing. Now we're on step 6. Step of anything, step 6 is usually pretty far advanced. So this is an advanced technique to start being able to, I see the vision I set for myself.
You look at that and you picture that vision. It's like looking at a map, old school maps. Remember, you'd unfold them and you'd look at it and say, okay, I want to go here. And you see, okay, I'm here and I want to go here. But figuring out to get from where you are now to where your vision is, that takes a lot of, what does that take? That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time in order to get from here to where where your mind map wants you to go.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that you're mentioning, right? And it's funny that you use the word map. If you go to ascentgoals.com or you go to chakramantras.com, I call it the inner wealth map. 7 steps to get crystal clear, not only a map, but actually how to do it. We've been building from step 1 through 6. Mm-hmm. Step 6, the 6th chakra, is all about believing and trusting that you're going to get it. And that is the key. So the inner wealth map, like I just repeated those steps. I'll repeat them again if you need me to. It's acceptance. What can you control? Control yourself. Second, desire, right? Have big goals, write them down. Creativity, think of new ideas, but audacious goals. Don't just sit there and try to say, I'm going to make $100 in 2 weeks. No, I want to make $1 million in 5 years. That's the kind of goal you got to go for. You got to go for something big. Everybody has said you got to go for big, audacious goals. And then third is, I trust, I act with purpose. Create your purpose. Write down those goals. Bring us to. Then we talked about energy. You need to have heart energy to take action. You need to be a calm, centered, loving person to attract people, places, and opportunities. And then the 5th one is communication. Now we're saying you got to believe it to achieve it. You got to be that Michael Jordan imagining yourself shooting. Last time, I'll bring it back to the football analogy. The last time the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl, they lost in the last 10 seconds on the goal line against the New England Patriots. You don't remember it, but everybody in Seattle remembers it. And here's what happened that day. It's 2015. It's February. Seahawks are at the goal line. It's like 1 or 2 yards to go. Russell Wilson's the quarterback. Marshawn Lynch is the running back. It's 3rd or 4th down. They have to score a touchdown to win this game. What happens at that point is, instead of running the ball with beast mode, which is Marshawn Lynch, amazing running back who created an earthquake in Seattle when he won a couple of years prior to that or ran a 100-yard run. Instead of handing the ball to beast mode, who weighs 250 pounds and can run through anything, they threw the ball and it got intercepted. Seattle's hopes went down the tube, and I'll tell you something great about that interception. I believe it was a gentleman named Butler from New England Patriots. The night before, I'm getting chills talking about it. The night before that game, he had a vision that he was going to intercept the ball and he was going to win the game.
And there he did. He did it.
He did it. And so Disney talks about it so many times. Put in ChatGPT, put in Google, Gemini, whatever. Go learn what Einstein and Walt Disney say about imagination. You've got to be able to see and to actually believe it. You got to practice all these principles that we've been talking about and go into it with the belief that you already have it, and then you're going to act on it. But you got to trust. The trust of seeing your mind's eye and trust in the pineal gland, your intuition, take action.
You know, you mentioned a big word there. You said action. You got to, and I think a lot of people think that, okay, I've got this, I've got the vision, I know I want to do this. All right, let it happen. Why isn't it happening? Nothing's happening for me, Vipin. Why am I not going anywhere? It's because you don't take the action. You kind of see what you want to do, but you don't know, or you don't put into effect the actionable not rules, but actionable pieces in order to achieve the goal that you're trying to get.
Let's use the analogy of the map. You want to go from A to B. You're in Fairville, and let's say you want to go to Chicago, and you want to go to a particular part of Chicago. You still got to get in the car, got to have a car, got to have money for gas, got to have a place where you're going to stay in Chicago, or you can just turn around and come back if you want. But the point being is, you got to get in the car and you got to drive. Mm-hmm. And then you got to trust that you're going to stay on the right side of the lane.
And they're going to stay where they need to be too, yep.
To get there, right? There's a lot of trust that's involved. Because the process is you still got to drive the car. When I say act, it doesn't mean you got to lift heavy weights and do manual labor. A lot of it is thinking work. Now, we talked a little bit about this app that I built, right? All of my mental energy for the last 8 days outside of my work is my work, and I focus on that full time. Any energy outside of that, I have put into this app. It's an incredible amount of features, visual design, text content. It's got an amazing blog on it. And the blogs that I'm writing on it are actually descriptions of our podcast every week. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to write a succinct and clear and detailed description of each of our podcasts, and they'll link to the Apple Podcast from there. What's fascinating is that you think, well, it just took you a week. I want to swear right now, and I'm not going to. That's total BS. Really, really wrong to say, oh, I just did it in 10 days, it's not worth anything. I have been working for 26 years crafting my trade. And even prior to that, in 1988, I made a decision to study management information systems in Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, when I went to college. I graduated in 1992, 5 years later, with a major in management information systems, which is in the School of Bachelor of Science degree. It was super hard. Only 500 people apply for that major. Eau Claire has 11,000 students. Only 500 people apply and 50 graduate because it requires programming. Back in those days, programming was really hard. It still is hard, but not as hard as it used to be. So I laid the groundwork, and the really funny thing is, my senior thesis in college in 1991, in the fall, 1992 May is when I graduated, was I had to teach a class to my fellow seniors, and my topic for me and my partner was artificial intelligence or robotics. Which one is going to win? Which one is going to have a bigger impact on the world? That was 1991, my friend. That's 35 years ago. I taught a class on artificial intelligence and what we used to call expert systems at the time. And here we are today. Fast forward 35 years. I have worked with AI models and software as a product manager and a leader in so many companies and startups and all that stuff. Some have failed, some have succeeded. I've built apps. I've done all sorts of things. For me to generate and build, I had a vision for this 25 years ago, 22 years ago. I reserved the URL enthusiasm.com, which is about positive influence, right? It took me 25 years later, through the technology caught up to my brain, and I'm able to design and build a professional tool / system that can really help me. I use it daily to track my progress and my goals and things like that. I remember that I was telling you I was sending my emails to myself every single day with things that I was proud of, things that I was insecure about things that I can do better each
Yep.
day. Well, I stopped doing this. Process came as a result of that. I had a vision at some point deep down ingrained in me. I took the step. It's weird. A week and a half ago, 11 days ago, I built an app on a platform and it kept on failing. I gave up at the restaurant that I was in, playing around with it. I went back the next day and I went home and I tried a different platform. And this one clicked. And this one has been incredible. And off to the races we are.
Nice.
Yeah. And so when you have a vision and when you have set a purpose for that vision previously, and when you start trusting that that purpose will come true, that vision will come true, like that Michael Jordan shot or like that Butler believing that he's going to get the interception that's going to win the game for the Patriots 10 years ago, when you start believing that, that is when you'll take the right action and validate in the real world the right action, the right course of action. Well, how do I know what the right action is? Intuitively, through the mind's eye, you'll know, you'll trust it. That's the key. I've been working for 25 years to create this thing. I'm super excited about it. I've told more friends that I've contacted in the last week than I've ever told anything about to anyone about this thing. So what I suggest for anybody who's looking is open the mind's eye, meditate, visualize, and then trust that it's coming to you. That's what the pineal gland will do. It will connect you to your higher self, God, universe, intelligence, whatever you want to call it. And then it will start believing. And then you'll take the right action in that moment on what you can control. That's when stuff starts to happen, man.
Right.
It's magical. It's magical what starts to happen. We've been doing this for 2 years now. It'll be
coming
in
up on
March.
2 years in March. Yeah.
And it's funny. We talked about like how are we going to use these transcriptions and how are we going to do these things and how is that going to apply? Come a long ways in what we thought was what we wanted. We're generating content on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, all these places. And now what we're generating on a weekly basis is great blog content. And you know that our blogs on this page are the top 3 pages on this site.
Really?
It gives me amazing analytics, this application does, right, that I'm using. And our blogs are consistently the top 3 pages on this app.
With so many people out there creating content on a regular basis that sometimes it's hard to break through the noise of, this is going on, that's going on. But I do think that consistency and bringing in a new product every week like we have been doing is going to help us out in the long run. And I believe that's how everybody's stuff ends up working. You're talking about your visual map and stuff, and you're looking for things. If you work at things consistently, eventually you will get there. It's one step at a time, and you're eventually going to get where you want to go.
What's interesting that I want to talk about 2 podcasters that are in our space that are rock stars. And I listened to both of their podcasts. I haven't listened to them for a couple of weeks. This year I've been a little busy, not listening to podcasts. I'm listening more to audiobooks, as I was telling you. But I was listening to these guys' podcasts on a regular basis. They both have over 10 million followers and 10 million people that listen to their podcast. One I think is in the top 10. One I think is in the top 20. First one is a guy named Lewis Howes, the Greatness Podcast. And people talk about him being a top 20 podcast on greatness. He's written a couple of books. He started out like 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. And I think he finished his published his first book, I think like 2017 or 2018, somewhere in there. It took him years to build his podcast. He's in the 10th year now. It's not overnight. Your success, this is the thing. Everybody wants success today and now. You're going to get wins along the way. You're going to be shown a path, which is great. And we're celebrating a win today. You and I are, just because I'm talking about it, right? The AscentGoals.com is a big part of what's going to happen in the future. You're going to get wins of the way. It's going to take time. But 10 years down the road, where do you want to be? You just want to pass and say you didn't do anything, or you gave it your best shot and you succeeded, or let's say we fail. The comfort we're going to have at the age of 65 is when we were 55 years old, we tried something and we gave it our best shot for 10 years or 5 years or whatever it was. We didn't quit at a year and a half when we thought about quitting. We took a little break, recalibrated, going down this path. That's what you got to do. You got to learn, adapt, but hold that vision of what you want ultimately. Be open to the universe. Be open to God giving you feedback on what you want. He's got a better solution than what you think you have. Leave the outcomes to Him. Put a vision of what you want. Be specific on what goals that you want and things like that. But leave how it's going to happen to God, the universe, your higher power, whatever you call it. Trust in a higher power. And that's the pineal gland. It connects you to God, your intuition. Trust in that power. And that's how you get what you want in life. You got to work for it. Nothing is free. Nothing is going to come to you just on a daily basis. But you got to go for it. You got to dream. You got to make the dream a reality by setting a goal. Take action daily and adjust. I've done it before. I started an internet company and I sold to a public company. Like, you know what I mean? You became a great radio personality in your region. And now you got a podcast business. You're attracting thousands of podcasters or people listening to us. We've had thousands of visitors. We've had, what do we have, like 3,000 or 4,000 downloads already in our system on our Fall Rise
more than that. But yeah, we've had a lot. You mentioned goal. What's the name of that website, or what's the name of your app that you're working on right now? Ascent Goals?
AscentGoals.com.
AscentGoals.com. So can you download that on your Apple or on your Android?
So what's interesting about it is it's what we call a web app.
Okay.
It looks and feels like an app, but it's a website, essentially. It's an application. All sites are applications. They could be flat pages, but most of them, they're database-driven applications. And so it's a web app. Anybody with any system can download it. When I was looking at the statistics this morning, we had number of people. 50% were on their desktop, 50% were on their phones. So usually averaging about 70% of people going through the mobile web, 30% are going from their desktop. But this is something you can do anywhere you want. You log in for free. You save the information. You can check in your goals whenever you want. I'm going to make the daily check-in, this is where we check in, like I told you, the tool that I use. How am I feeling today? What am I proud of? What am I insecure about? What can I do better? And then the fourth one I added this week is what am I grateful for? Similar to what I'm proud of, but what am I really grateful for? It's a little different, a little nuance. And so what the cool thing about this is that'll always be free. And it's free for everybody, the whole thing right now. But I'm thinking either February 15th, I may have a paid subscription. I think it'll be a nominal fee for like $10 a month. No gimmicks, no pay in advance, just $10 a month. You don't like it, don't use it. Cancel anytime. But I think what I'm going to do is I want people to have a little bit of skin in the game, put a little money into it and saying, okay, I'm going to commit to it for 30 days, see what happens. Commit to it for 6 months. I'd like people to give it 3 months to be able to say what kind of difference it makes in their lives. Just the check-ins will help them a lot, and that'll always be free. The check-ins have helped me a lot already.
Yeah, I think that if you have the checks and balances with that, it helps out a lot. Like you said, having skin in the game helps out with your thought process, and nothing's free, man. You got to give something, and if you're giving time or a little bit of money or whatever, it's all about having a little something in there in order to get a little something back.
I'll mention this, and this will be our closing remark. I don't know about you or anybody else in the audience out there. I am very clear. And I've always been very clear since we were kids. We had a friend, an associate who passed away over 10 years ago, a guy named Dan Riley. I mentioned that before in one of our podcasts, right? He was an amazing guy. He was part of a group of 4 or 5 friends that I used to hang out with in high school. And he said to me, and I remember this, he believed in me so much. He's like, someday you're going to be an author. someday you're going to publish a book. He inspired me by believing in me at that level. Some of those one-on-one conversations that we had. I always had a belief, and he knew this. It wasn't to go get famous, and I could give a rat's butt to be on CNN or to be at Oprah, whatever. That'll all be nice things. Ultimately, what I want to do, Bob, is to help people. Right. I'm investing my own time, money, energy. Helping people makes me feel good. I'm very selfish. They asked Mother Teresa, why is she helping these people, the poorest, the poor in Calcutta? She's like, I see the face of Jesus in these people's lives. I feel good by helping people. I feel good about helping people. Me, Vipin, feels good about it. So what I have set a purpose since a long time ago, and I'm very crystal clear on it now today. I have a mantra. I attract people, places, and opportunities that serve my purpose of helping millions of people. That's one of my mantras. And I repeat that daily. I attract people, places, and opportunities that serve my purpose of helping millions of people. And even if it doesn't come true, I'll leave that to God, higher power, universe. I feel good saying it every day. Mm-hmm. Helps me pass my time, helps me enjoy life, helps me feel like I have purpose.
Yep, mine is calm, centered, loving. Never used to be, till about 4 weeks ago. Calm, centered, and loving, baby. That's me. That's B.O.B. B.O.B., calm, centered, and loving.
It's one step at a time. Calm, centered, loving is how it starts. It's in the app. Calm, centered. There's an act button on there. 3 things I want you to do for 5 minutes a day. And one of them is I'm calm, I'm centered, and I'm loving. We have some downloadable Buddhist kind of sounds and things, and it's the act button on the app. It's pretty cool. You should check it out. We should play with this app, Bob. Play with it. I think you'll like it a lot. This is something that's just, it's out of this world. It's unimaginable for me. It's God's plan, not mine.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Fall Rise Give, where we explore stories of resilience, growth, and giving back. If you enjoyed today's episode, please visit our website at www.fallrisegive.com. Also consider subscribing to our podcast on your favorite platform and leaving us a review. Your feedback helps us to continue to bring you inspiring stories. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember, every fall is a chance to rise, and every rise is an opportunity to give. Until next time, keep falling, rising, and giving. This is Fall Rise Give, produced by podcastforhire.com. Thank you for listening.